What's good, everybody? Welcome back. We're doing good today. We've got strong internet. We had the guys out here. We found, if you're paying attention, yesterday was a bit of a struggle for me. This just frustrated with this internet. Thank you to all of you that have been patient. I know I missed a few calls and have just been trying to get caught up, but we basically found a couple chopped up little nicks and all the wire and stuff going all the way down the building and outside. So all of that got replaced. I hope that did the trick, because I can't think of anything else that I can push these guys to fix. But anyways, let's talk about the markets today. Today was about as good as you can get for the stock market, period. Now, I don't mean because the stock market was up like 1,000% or something went crazy. I mean because top to bottom, most everything was good today. To start, we had economic news come out this morning. Very normal numbers that if it was not earnings season would have been the dominant headline. The first was durable goods orders, that those came out today much better than expected. They were expecting 1.6, right? They were expecting 1.6. They got 2.6 in growth. Durable goods, just to make this simple, all that means is the products that were shipped that are things that we don't consume right away. It could be like a treadmill. It could be machinery. A bat that you would use for softball or baseball or something. That's a durable good. We can use it. It's not immediately consumed and wasted. Much higher than expected. So great sign for the economy, especially a beat by that much, by 1%. That was a great beat. The other news that would have been sort of the top headline of the day would have been the weekly jobless claims. Now, normally that's kind of a, hey, if we're close enough, no big deal. They came in at 209,000 versus 230, which was expected. Now the 230, obviously that's a higher number. 209 just means the number of claims for unemployment, the jobless claims were a lot lower than expected. That would have been the headline. So that was already good news before the stock market even opened today. Now we know that going back from yesterday, we had, let's put it on the charts for you guys. Where's the chart? There we go. We know going back to yesterday, we had AMD that did well after hours, and that was already supporting the Nasdaq. There were some other names in there. Who else reported? eBay didn't do very good. It was AMD was the big focus yesterday. We'll go over the rest of them in a minute. But because of things like that, the markets and the economic news that came in good, you already started with a really strong market. The Dow was higher by 240, the S&P added 27, the Nasdaq added 114, and even continues to crush it here after hours. If you're watching live, I'll bet you that has to do with Amazon. We'll check that in just a second. In the Dow, your leader today was Visa, and I want to stop on this one for a second. We'll cover, Amazon's up 7% after earnings, Intel up 2%. We'll get to that, so we'll cover that towards the end. Then everybody will have their earnings out. Visa. The stock crushed it today. Look at over here. The stock's almost off the charts. It's doing that well. Broke to new highs, up about 5% on the day. Do you know why? Do you know why Visa is higher? I'm going to go back to the American Express earnings where we kind of picked on you guys that don't pay off your rewards programs bills, because Visa also said the same thing. They said, we're killing it. We're crushing it. Their transaction volume was great. However, client incentives revenue was higher by 25% year over year. They make $1.3 billion on client incentives. And if you break into client incentives, that's your rewards programs, branded and unbranded rewards programs. They now, that incentive, the rewards programs, now accounts for 20% of their gross revenues. So the report is just full of comments about the consumer spending more. Actually, they're what do they call it? Where is it? Revenue growth, payment volume. That's what it's called. Payment volume was off the charts for them. What basically that just means the people that are making payments, right, versus paying everything off, payment volumes were ridiculous, off the charts. This just proves that people are taking on more and more credit card debt, and they're not biased, whether it's American Express, Visa. These guys are racking up the money on your rewards programs. So again, I'm sure everybody that's watching me knows how to handle those programs, but apparently a lot of people do not, and that's incredible. They made a ton of money, and as you could see on the charts there, just crushed it. So we'll move on from that. That was your leader in the Dow, by the way. Home Depot just behind it. Facebook was higher by almost 10% on the day. They've had earnings, revenue, everything came in better than expected, but the daily active users, that was a metric that everybody was focused on, basically stayed the same. So despite all the security issues, that Cambridge Analytica nonsense that came out, most people didn't really care. They continue to use the platform. The stock now has recovered almost 70% of everything that it lost from the beginning of that. So looking pretty good there. You know I got to talk about Chipotle. I love Chipotle. I don't love the stock. I love the company. I will eat there every day. Oh my gosh, that's my place. Okay, but anyways, Chipotle was higher by 25% today. That was one of the big focuses here. Now look, there's a huge short interest year over year on this stock. What does that mean? It just means that the people that bet on the stock going down were piling in more and more, because you can bet on a stock going up or down, and if you bet on it going down, it's called being short, just as a simple example, or a simple little education there. So anyways, what happens is if the stock starts going up, you're losing money. You have to buy back those shares in order to get out of your position. So think of it as a transaction. You can start a transaction in the stock market by buying first. If you buy first, in order to close the transaction, you have to sell. If you start by selling first, that's called being short. In order to close that transaction, you have to buy to get out of it. Well, a lot of short covering today without going into any more detail about that. In addition to people just really excited about it because the company said earnings, everything across the board really good. Not only that, most of the reason their earnings were really good is because they raised prices and people kept coming back to pay those prices. Really, really, really cool. So the company didn't necessarily do new business. It's just the people that were coming in kept coming back and they were willing to pay a little bit more. So this is their second best quarterly profit in almost 3 years, according to Reuters, I guess. Earnings per share, $2.13. Killed it. Just really, really good. Stock price higher today by 25%. Other names that reported today were PayPal. I can never type that symbol. PayPal reported earnings up about 2%. They did really good. Ford reported earnings, not so bad. Stopped at the 200-day moving average. I will pull that up on the chart so you guys can see it. There you go. Ford's been stuck right at the 200-day moving average. Qualcomm, not so bad. Stock was up 1.5%. Really more of a rubber band effect there. See right to the right of the Z in Jazz. It had sold off, just like the semiconductors we'll talk about in a second, and that blasted that off. Oh, now it's covering up. Sorry about that. AT&T suffered a little bit today, down 6%. They didn't do so well. And eBay was the other one that didn't do so well, stuck right at the 200-day moving average. After the close here today, well, before we go to that, I want to talk about the semiconductors. Semiconductors helped support this entire market today, up to 2.1%, mostly because it had been pummeled here down in the short term. A little bit of a rubber band effect. Just people trying to buy that dip. That makes perfect sense. Let's move on to Amazon because Amazon is now up 7%, closed at 15.17, and it is sitting at 16.06, which puts it right about here at these previous highs. That's going to be it till the conference call. When they have the conference call, then depending on what they say, we may end up gapping higher than the all-time highs. But right now we're at 16.07, just sitting there after earnings. I'm going to guess those earnings came in pretty good. Let's take a look at Microsoft because Microsoft is now down just a fraction. Basically not much going on here, bit of back and forth. Normally you don't see that too much. Microsoft tends to not have large earnings gaps. Here's the last time it had a large gap. Otherwise, when they report earnings, it's a lot of trading during the market. So I'm not too concerned about anything there. Intel is going to continue to set the tone for us here. We had Texas Instruments. We had AMD. Crushing it, helping out tech, helping out that semiconductor space. What is Intel going to do? It looks like they crushed it as well. 55.70, so it's up way up here to new highs. And that is the reason why you have the Nasdaq futures after the close here up 170 now. So a big spike. So far, it looks like tomorrow's going to be a strong day in the markets as well, all thanks to just a couple names. Isn't that interesting? It's fascinating. Starbucks is due to report. Look, there's so many names I could go through. I'm not going to go through all of them. Starbucks looks a little lower. I'm not sure if earnings are out yet. I don't think earnings came out just yet. Baidu, if you're interested. I forget all the other ones. Baidu, 238. Nah, I don't think they've come out either. So bottom line, there's a lot going on. I don't mean to take up too much of your time here, but there is a lot going on in the markets. And it looks like as of now, with everyone that's reported, everyone that matters anyways, Starbucks now down 2% after reporting earnings. So anyone that really matters, it seems like did really well here today. and tomorrow will likely be at least a strong start to the market. We'll see. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer some of them for you. Otherwise, I will get out of the way. I'm sorry for the misspellings in the description today. How long have I been doing this? This will be my 13th year, and actually tomorrow's video, this posts at 1 o'clock, I'll probably just do it live, is going to be how did I get started? What's my background? How do I know about all this stuff? And what is it that, what brought me from, childhood all the way to this point? I'll do a quick video on that to kind of give you my background. So tomorrow at 1 o'clock, might even just do it live. I think that'd be easier. How long has Jazz Wealth been around? This will be our 3rd year, but we have to make it till August, I believe. So it'll be our 3rd year. I've been doing this now 13 years. This will be my 13th year, 3 with Jazz Wealth, and no complaints. I love it. So with that in mind, I am going to wrap it up. There are no other earnings. Let me just double check. If you're not interested in earnings, you're free to go. Knowles, that doesn't matter. Flex, did they come out? Down 7%. Nobody really looks at that one. I think we're good to go. Amazon's still holding there. Let's see if they had that conference call yet. And they are getting started. So 16.19, Amazon officially breaking a new highs there on earnings. That'll be all extra volatile here in the next 10 minutes or so. But that's all I have for you. Hey, thanks from Okinawa, Japan. That's cool, man. I appreciate that. People all over the world. I'm going to wrap it up here. If you have any questions, if you need anything, Dustin at jazzwealth.com. Otherwise, go to the website, click Chat with Jazz. If you just want to talk with me, have questions about something, what do we say? Anything related to investing, retirement investing, if you think we can help you out, happy to do it. All right, guys, take it easy. See ya later.